Hi guys, and welcome to a video that I've wanted to do for such a long time. Today I'm going to show you my Hobonichi Cousin and how I have set it up as a home and work planner. So it really is my everything planner. It's been working really well so far. I've been in this book for about 6 months now, and I didn't think I would ever be able to plan without rings. Previously, I've always been in ring-bound planners, but this has been working out so well, and I really, really love it. So I wanted to share with you what I've been doing. So this is a Hobonichi Cousin. This is the Spring Start Cousin, so it starts in April. I received this, I think it was the first or the second week of April. It took me a while to adjust to being in a bound planner. So you'll see later on that the first few weeks of April, I hadn't really gotten into the hang of it. I think at the time I was still doing two planners. I was doing the Hobonichi and I was still updating my personal ring-bound planner as well. So I'm going to start off with the yearly view. This took me a while to figure out how I wanted to use. Because in April I thought, this would be perfect to track vacation days. So you can see that I started doing that just by marking down when my kids aren't in school, when I have taken time off work, when my husband has taken time off work. But then I figured I could do that easily on the monthly view, and so my yearly view became sort of an index/tracker. And I'm not tracking too many things. Like, I know a lot of people like to track their health and their symptoms or other habits that they're trying to form. I just track movies, which I've written down in purple. So these are movies we've watched. And I track Gilio purchases. So you can see between July and September, I was a little spend happy. So I think a no spend is coming up. So that is the yearly view. You can see for 2017, I've already started to try something different. So for 2017, I'm going to have all 4 of my kids in school. And the 2 eldest and the 2 youngest are going to be in completely separate schools, and they have completely different term dates. So I'm going to need to be able to track that to find out when school holidays coincide, and that'll help me plan things like family vacations and stuff. And I also need to keep note of no school days or public holidays. So just flipping through the monthly view, you'll see that when I first got this planner in April, I didn't really know what was going on. I was just kind of trying to figure out how to use all the space, and it just looks very bare. I know that I wanted to find some way to make important appointments stand out, so I started off by using these stickers, but I didn't maintain that for the next month. I think because I didn't really like how they looked. So again, May is pretty bare, and June. It was only until July that I really started getting comfortable with being in an A5. I started getting a better idea of how I wanted to use the space in the monthly. So this is what July looks like. I used just little bullet points to note different appointments that may happen on the same day. I started to decorate with washi. I started to use the little sidebar just to note down things that are upcoming. So these are events that I know are coming up but don't have a definite date. So I've just noted them down, and I'll cross them off when I've actually scheduled them. And I said this was a work and personal planner, so I also list down my work deliverables here just to make it easy for me to refer back to. Again, in August, I just went a bit crazy with the washi tape, but still really bare. Last month I wanted to try something different, so I started color coding on the monthly view, and that seems to be really helpful because it helps me just see at a glance what I have going on for work, which I've color-coded in green, what one of my girls has going on, which I've color-coded in pink. Orange I use for family appointments. So just by doing that, I've been able to really get a big picture overview of what is happening that month. I've done the same for October, so everything is color-coded. I marked down my husband's schedule and when my children don't have school, and I've started using washi tape also, slim washi tape, to just mark down important days. So here I've marked down a payday, but the little empty slim washi tapes, they're these ones, and they're really good for just marking off important days that you really want to stand out. They don't take up too much space, just barely 2 boxes. So that's been really useful because I haven't actually been able to find a proper use for these anywhere else. So I'm going to start using that more often as well. Then we have the weekly view. I basically just use it to schedule out appointments, and what I've done in the past is just highlight when I have work meetings, when I have personal appointments, and I've changed it recently to use different colored pens, so this kind of helps me see and visualize what is going on throughout the week. Again, with the washi tape, it just adds a little fun pop of color. I really enjoy using it. And it's pretty much been like that until recently when I started doing this, which is to really block out times when I'm definitely not available. So this helps me see if I have any clash. So this period of time is usually when I have to pick up my kids from school. So if that clashes with any work meetings, I'll know that I need to make alternate arrangements. I also noticed that I wasn't really using these 3 checkboxes at the top of the page. So what I do now is just note down things that happen, all-day events that happen throughout the week that don't really have a fixed time, but I just want to keep track of. This was last week, so my kids were on half term and my husband was away, so that's a really interesting use of the 3 check boxes at the top. At least I'm not wasting that space, and it really helps me kind of be aware of what's going on that week as well, apart from seeing, you know, what meetings I have daily. So that's just how I use the weekly. And now we go to kind of the core of my planning, and that is the daily pages. And like I said, I have a lot of empty space, so I've just been using it for a pen test. I use it for notes. I think I've got lists here, so this is scattered just throughout the book, and I'll reference it in the front if it's anything really important. So my first daily layout, this is probably the first day where I decided to just commit to using the Hobonichi and try and figure it out how I'm going to use all this space. I've pretty much kept to the same layout, except at first I really wanted to just divide the page into 2, so I would have tasks down the side and I would have my daily schedule down the left side. I quickly learned that I don't actually need that whole column for my daily schedule, because I was using this timed area sort of as just a daily log. So I kind of just make a note of things that happen as throughout the day. It's not really hour by hour. So I changed my layout a bit so that I would use this to note down what happened that day. I would use this column for work tasks, and this horizontal column here would be for any notes that I wanted to take throughout the day. And you can see I did do a bit of journaling because I don't always fill up the space. I thought it would be a nice way to just note down a few things that happened on that particular day. And you'll also notice that I really made an effort to decorate. I'm not usually a decorator, but I think I was just so excited to use this Hobonichi, knowing that I would be able to keep it and archive it and refer back to it in the future. I really wanted to make an effort to pretty it up, so I started using stickers and a lot more washi tape. I think this is probably my most decorated spread. And I really liked how it looks. I still like flipping back and seeing how my pages looked really, you know, colorful and pretty. But ultimately, it's not who I am as a planner. And that is a single pen, a Hobonichi stencil, and that's it. So I call it ugly planning. And this is just really how my brain works. I think I can see things better when it's not cluttered up by stickers and washi tape. I don't have the eye for it. To me, when I start decorating, it just looks like a mess. Whereas when other people do it, you know, when they place their stickers, it just looks absolutely beautiful. I just can't do it, and I don't have the talent for it. So again, with the, you know, with the one pen, I tried and added some color with different colored different colored inks, I mean. But ultimately, when I really want to add some color, I'll just use the slim washi tape. And there's actually a story to why I've decided to cover up the times. It's because when I first got this book, the fact that the times are not printed directly onto the lines really drove me nuts. So as you can see, the 9 is sort of there. It's in the middle of the line. So I was like, well, if I have a meeting at 9 o'clock, where am I actually supposed to write it? Do I write it above the line? But that kind of means that it's at 8 o'clock. Do I write it in between the lines? But then that'll look messy. So I spent way too much time overthinking that. So I decided, no, not gonna think about it anymore. I'm just gonna cover it up with washi tape, and I'm just gonna pretend the numbers aren't there. I'm gonna write in my own numbers, and that has really helped. So yeah, it's a nice pop of color as well. So it just doesn't look black and white. And that's pretty much how my planning has gone. It's been a bit quiet these past few weeks, so I've had time to decorate with a bit of washi tape, a bit more color, but essentially that is my layout. You know, I have my times here, I have my tasks down this column, and I have any notes in this horizontal space here. Something I've been doing fairly recently is I've been using another planner to supplement my planning in the Hobonichi. It really is a fantastic planner, but I think the style of planning that I'm used to is that everything needs to be visible. If I don't see it, I'm going to forget about it, and I'm most likely not going to do it. So with the weekly view, my whole schedule is here, but I don't really refer back to it because I don't like flipping back and forth between pages. So I often miss things that are coming up in the week. For example, I'll have a meeting on Wednesday, and I'll have things that I will need to prepare for it. But because I'm kind of focused on my day-to-day planning, I don't look ahead enough, and I often miss things that I'll have to do to prepare for something coming up later in the week. That's not the fault of the Hobonichi exactly. I think, again, it's just a reflection of how my brain works and how I'm used to planning. So what I've done to kind of overcome that is just use a separate planner. This is a Giulio Giramondo, and it's basically a standard Midori traveler's notebook size. And I've printed off a insert from DIY Fish. it has the whole week at a glance, and it's got some checkbox here, and it's got a weekly chart. So how I've been using the week at a glance is sort of helping me focus on big items that are coming up throughout the week, and that I know I will have to prepare for. If I have a deadline coming up on Saturday, I'll need to do something on Friday for it, something on Thursday, something on Wednesday. So it kind of helps me break the tasks down so that I'm doing them consistently throughout the week, and I'm not just scrambling to complete them the day before when I just remembered about them. So that is how I'm using the week at a glance. So when I'm looking at this, and this is always open on my desk along with my Hobonichi, this helps remind me that, hey, you have something coming up on Friday and you need to get these things done before that day. What I'm using the checkboxes for is sort of like an inbox. So whenever anything comes in, I'll just make a note of it. This just helps me be aware of everything that's on my plate at the moment. Sometimes I forget if I don't write something down. It can be something that came in through an email that I don't need to action immediately, but I'll need to think about it at some point later on in the week. So if I write it down here, then I can refer back and remember, like, hey, someone reminded me about this on Monday, so I need to get back to it and follow up on it. So I just write down any tasks, anything that I've delegated, basically any work items that come in throughout the week. I'll just note it down in this checkbox. The weekly chart I just use for any to-dos that I haven't completed. So say I have all these things that I'm supposed to do on the Thursday. Anytime at the end of the day when I notice that I haven't done something, I'll immediately transfer it to the weekly chart. This saves me the trouble of migrating it to the next day, and then if I don't get it done, migrating and copying it over again to the next day. So I have sort of like a central list of anything that hasn't been completed. And like I said, this is always open at my desk along with my Hobonichi. So this is always in my face. So I'll know all the things that I haven't gotten around to. So usually what I do when I start planning in the morning is that I'll have all these open, and the first thing I do is refer to this list to see what it is that hasn't been done from the day before, and I'll try and get that done first. So I don't have to waste time copying it over, and sometimes I'll forget to copy it over, and that's when I'll miss that particular item. But with this weekly chart, that hasn't been a problem. I've really been able to stay on top of those to-dos that I sometimes forget to complete. And I'll just tick it off when it's been done. And if it's something that's particularly important that I really want to get done as soon as possible, then I'll just highlight it so I know when I open this up first thing in the morning, this is what I need to do first. Okay, so the combination of the two, of having my daily plan here, of having my scheduling on the weekly, and having this little booklet to remind me of what I haven't done and to help me keep focused throughout the week, that's really been working well for me, and I've really been enjoying planning again. I'm spending more time in my planner. I'm getting more things done. Eventually I'll try and just have nothing on this and get everything done on the day they're supposed to be done, but that doesn't always happen. So having this little list has really helped me keep on top of things. So yeah, that is how I've been using my Hobonichi and how I have added something to my planning by just printing out a little insert from DIY Fish. I hope you've enjoyed the video. I hope it wasn't too long, and hopefully you found something useful. So that's about it, and until next time, bye!